We'll start with Ben.
Mike, just quickly, any update on either Kylan or Will Rogers? Are you expecting to have them this week?
I think they'll both be available. Yeah.
Follow up. Obviously, you guys saw a lot more zone coverage this week than against LSU. Is that something you're kind of anticipating at least this week against Kentucky, or maybe down the stretch, or is that just kind of one weekend and not quite clear what you'll see from Kentucky yet?
Well, we've always anticipated. I mean, we've over the years we've seen a lot more zone than we have man. But obviously, we need to be more precise. One, where we align, and two, where we sit. I didn't see that so much as some magic, to the game. I mean, our execution was the difference. They executed, we didn't. But that's not some special thing, and it's not something that was newly invented either. I mean, you got to go out there and execute. I think that they did, we didn't, and we had a lot of chances that game too. And so we just have to get better. We have to be a steady, consistent team. We can't rest on any level of perceived success, and we have to be. We have to be the same team every snap, and I didn't think we were.
We'll go to Steve.
Coach KJ's had a handful of turnovers in 2 games. As his position coach and play caller, how do you kind of manage him where he doesn't kind of go in a shell there and continues to be aggressive, but perhaps be a little more careful with the football?
Well, we clearly haven't had a problem with the aggressive part of it. I think we got to get a little realistic with it. I think that, the majority of the problems are forces. I mean, not all of them are him. Sometimes he's getting hit, and sometimes, the ball bounces funny, but, plenty of them are just kind of forced throws, trying to make too much happen. And I did think there was quite a lot of that. We try to get, try to score 2 touchdowns on one play, and you can't do that. You gotta go out there and just put it in play, and utilize all the positions out there. I didn't think we did a good job of that. I thought we tried to make way too much happen, and not just him.
Tyler.
Yeah, Mike, Osiris Mitchell and Austin Williams were a big part of what you guys did against LSU. I know Osiris had some catches against Arkansas, but I don't think Austin had any. How do you get those guys more involved, and how much of a factor do you want those guys to be every week? It seems like they were pretty reliable in week 1.
Yeah, they definitely were. We got to protect. I think it all starts with protection. There's not like one pinpoint item. I mean, what it is, we didn't play very complete on offense in any position. I didn't think we did it at quarterback. I didn't think we did it offensive line, and I didn't think at receiver. And I think that, at receiver, if you throw out a combination of routes, everybody's got to be stretching the field because it sets up the other routes, and then the quarterback's got to have his eyes in the right place. And your 5 have to be able to beat their 3, and we didn't do either one of those 3 things consistently.
We'll go back to Steve.
Coach, by that same token, Jaden Wally was a much bigger part of things this past week. What has he done in practice to kind of earn those opportunities, and what do you like about him?
I like the fact he's really explosive. I like the fact he's always really excited to play. He's one of those guys that always plays with a smile on his face. I think that contributes to the others around him. I also think that, and we're trying to utilize all the talents that we have on the team. We want to get him out there and get him involved because he's going to take off here pretty quickly as a great player. I don't know exactly when that'll be. We may be pushing the envelope a little aggressively. I don't know. Of course, you work with what you got, but we see him as a player that's really going to emerge and is on his way to doing it. And the other thing, our 3 scrimmages we had, he played extremely well in our 3 scrimmages when we were in camp, which is, quite a distinction for a freshman.
We'll go to John at WCBI.
Hey, Mike. Just want to also introduce myself real quick. I'm the new sports director here at WCBI here. We'll be covering you. It's nice to meet you. So I was going to ask about KJ. What do you kind of want to see from him, like in practice this week? And what do you, based on the film from the Arkansas game, what would you like to see him fix?
Yeah, and don't try to do too much, because he's good with his job. He knows his job. And then the thing is as you compete and you're aggressive, you always try to take it a step further. But if you do that, then the whole thing gets tangled up. And I think that I just want him to keep simple things simple and have his eyes in the right place. And, don't try to do too much. Just, do his job, because there's a lot of other weapons and receivers out there to help him, and then that's going to be easier as we protect better.
You think it's kind of been, I don't know, did you kind of like expect, like in not an up and down season, but coming out obviously the first week and as strong against LSU, and like not having those practices as much in the summer? Do you think that's been a little like detrimental to your guys, like obviously through these first few weeks?
Well, it's affected the consistency, but we can't fall back on that. I mean, we have what we have, and the situation's what it is, and everybody else is in it too. Yeah, it's definitely had an effect. I mean, new staff, new package, but there's other people in that boat too. So no, we just have to get better. I've never really had expectations. You just try to. You try to be as good as you possibly can every day, and get your best, which that's a challenge, but try to get your best every day and see where it takes you. It's like Bill Walsh wrote a book. The title was "The Score Will Take Care of Itself," and that's an accurate statement. But you have to have the discipline to just focus on your job one play at a time and allow the score to take care of itself, because it's going to take care of itself in the best fashion possible. If you're focused in, one play at a time and what you're immediately doing, rather than allowing distractions to put you on a roller coaster. So, every team's fighting that, but we are, and it was apparent last game.
Joel?
Couple things real quick. Mike, first off, just what have you seen out of Kentucky so far, your impressions of them, and what you guys will have to look out for on Saturday?
Tough, gritty team. It'll be a contrast of they want to run the ball and use the clock. We're going to throw it. They're good on defense. Both defenses, I think, are starting to kind of take shape. I know they gave up some points, but a lot of them were shots, kind of shots that hit for Mississippi or Ole Miss, I think, and but down in and down out, they played better than the score suggests.
And also, you're returning to Kentucky, where, of course, you were once an assistant. Have you been back to Kentucky as a head coach? And I guess just what's kind of the feelings like returning to Kentucky?
Not as a head coach. I did a book signing there. I've been to Kentucky a couple times. It's a great place. I have a lot of friends there. It's just a gorgeous city, Lexington is, and a great setting for a football game. No, I'm looking forward to going back to Kentucky. It's in football. It's you get asked the memory lane question quite a bit. Not a lot of time to walk down memory lane, but it'll be good to see Lexington again.
We'll go to Trey.
Hey, Mike. What's probably the best plan of attack when a team is dropping 8 back constantly?
Yeah, just be patient. Put it in place. Stretch the field, but you have to do it aggressively. The guys away from the ball have to push and stretch the field also. I mean, and then, of course, run the ball, be more consistently strong up front as far as moving the pile, that type of thing, Consistency, I think, would be the a way to put it. I mean, but you know, you got to understand we're out of business decades ago if drop eight's some secret deal.
So do you think that you may be seeing that a lot more considering what the, you know, what's on film now?
Yeah, we sure might. You know, all the all those years we played Oregon. I mean, we got them 4 times. Should have got them 6. You know, that was their thing, was, you know, drop 8. They did a lot of drop 8.
We'll go to Gary.
Mike, what do you recall about the development of the air raid at Kentucky, and how do you feel about your part in this development into the kind of offense that it is, and your name being attached to it in some way?
You know, you're just kind of in the trenches, just trying to improve every day. You know, you kind of, you know, you're most involved in practice, and you just go from practice, watch film, try to improve. So from that standpoint, in the thick of it, not very conscious of it. The air raid, and I'm credited with the title air raid. When we were at Iowa Wesleyan College, some guy brought in this air raid siren, and you know, that was fun at that time to name offenses. There was all the different names they had for a variety of offenses. You know, West Coast offense, fun and gun, run and shoot, and then this guy, and I believe it was Bob Lamb, a guy named Bob Lamb, comes in with an air raid siren, and we, you know, our offices were in a basement of a gym that was built in like when was that built? It was like built in 1890 or something. Iowa Wesleyan College is the oldest college west of the Mississippi, and was actually a site for the Lincoln Douglas debates. And that, you know, you see the gym on Hoosiers. Our gym was, I mean, it was more Hoosiers than that gym on Hoosiers. And we were downstairs in the bowels of the basement. I was next to kind of the boiler room, which come to find out Davy Lopes, the famous baseball player for the Dodgers, that had been his room or his apartment way back when, because he actually played a little baseball at Iowa Wesleyan for a brief period of time. Well, anyway, so he comes in there with this siren and says, you know, here, look what I got. And he turns that thing on, you know, and it's just, you know, loud as can be because it's echoing off those walls. What? You know, so it goes, and just let it rip, right? And so then, you know, he'd take it out there, and our games would have, I don't know, 1,000 people, maybe 3 on a really good crowd, big crowd, out there playing on a high school field, and so then Bob would stand in the end zone, and he would turn that thing on, you know, like when we'd score. Used to be when we'd score. Well, then after a while, him and his friends had so much fun with it, they just blasted for anything, just randomly, whenever they felt like it, you know, and or even when the other quarterback is trying to call plays, because we didn't have a lot of crowd noise there, and he'd get kicked out of games and stuff, and you know, have to go stand on the edge of the fence to the back. I mean, it was greatness, and so then from there they started calling it the air raid, and I'm kind of credited with the idea to call it the air, because I said, well, hey, we could call it the air raid, you know, and so it kind of stuck.
Well, first of all, I hope that's not the last time we hear you do an air raid siren, Mike.
I didn't do it very good. I bet I could do it better. I have to hear it again.
Yeah.
Here, get an air raid siren on your phone there. Let's do this some justice. When he's got it, we'll tell you. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Earlier you said both defenses, Kentucky's and yours, are taking shape. Now that you've had some time to digest what they've done through 2 weeks, how impressed are you with that unit? I think you guys are number 2 in total defense in the SEC, and especially against the run, you guys have been pretty stout.
I think we've done some good things. We play aggressive. We're not perfect or precise. Explosive plays. There's been some explosive plays that have haunted us a little bit. Work in progress, but getting better. Do you have it? All right, it's loading up. All right, next question.
We'll go to Steve.
Coach, how was yesterday's practice, and how do you feel like the team, and specifically KJ, kind of responded when you guys had a chance to get out there and clean up a little bit?
Well, I think that coming in, I mean, everybody's disappointed and upset, and then we did the kind of the post evaluation of things, where we felt short, what needs to be different, and the biggest thing is it's one of those things that as a coach, you fear all week that there might be a letdown, and you try to deliver the message. We failed to do that, so that's our fault. And there's anytime you're trying to reach a group, you're trying to try as many ways as you can, and obviously we needed to figure out a better one. But as far as the lift and the practice, it was very enthusiastic, and guys ran around. I think, because I do think we have a group that is quite committed, but we have a lot of guys that haven't played a great deal, a bunch of people that haven't really played. So, it's not just how hard you have to work to prepare all week to win a game. It's also, the timing and situationally when to really let it go. And I think, we're improving on that. I hope. I mean, it looked like we were yesterday. We'll see how it goes Tuesday.
Ben?
Mike, you mentioned KJ, and obviously he's a guy that's played a lot of snaps and can rebound from an interception here or there. But at least in practice and coming off the game yesterday, how has he kind of responded, and what's kind of been his process to responding to Saturday?
Analytical, like good quarterbacks are analytical. Because the only way you really get to be any good is to have honest evaluation, and a lot of that's going to be painful. And so I think that'd be the best way to describe it.
Go to Dick Gabriel.
Hey, Mike, I'm wondering if you keep in touch with Hal Mummy, what kind of advice he might have given you when you became a head coach, and do you guys make it down to Key West at all anymore?
I do keep in touch with Hal. We have met up in Key West. It's been a long time. We talk back and forth really on all kinds of things. Football's never far from being one of the topics. He's doing a lot of clinics and things nowadays. So he's still definitely involved. I mean, he'll always be involved in football. I can promise you that. Whether he's got a team or not, he's always in the thick of it, and with coaches, drawing stuff up, drawing things up on napkins, sometimes cloth napkins, and we've had some funny expressions on waiters' faces over the years as he can't find paper, so he grabs a cloth napkin and starts drawing stuff, so he's still in it front and center. You got it? Okay, here we go. See, I'm going to get my grandkids one of these things so that they can, my daughter and her husband, they need to hear this, because I went through years of random noises and rambunctiousness and broken toys and broken glass.
We'll jump to Tyler Horka, and that'll take us home.
I'm gonna buy each of my grandkids one of those. Go ahead.
Well, now that you've heard it again, give us your best shot at it again.
It was slower than I went. I can't do it. I'll have to work on it. Maybe next time. I gotta work on that.
Yeah. But you played one game at home and one game on the road, and given the oddness that is crowds with this COVID thing going on, did you notice any stark differences, or do you feel like home field advantage and going on the road is basically been kind of wiped out?
I thought our fans did a tremendous job. And I really regret that we let them down. But I think it's different in two ways than people realize. I've already talked about, the cutouts in the stands, and there's a certain pretend aspect to the crowd. The one thing that's false is that it's quiet out there. It's not as loud as it usually is. That's definitely the case. But it's louder than some stadiums, not in the SEC per se, but it's louder than some stadiums from the standpoint you need silent count. I mean, you don't just go in there and yell out to the receiver, widen out, or it's the post, or tell the quarterback or yell at the guard or something. I mean, no, it's loud enough between the PA system and the rest that it's still kind of nonverbal communication unless somebody's right next to each other.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Thanks. Good to see you. Drink Coke. I may have two of them today. All right.